Indonesian representative in Geek Fam. And with that, let's welcome you into the land of Dawn we go.
This might be the first close game we are going to see today. Champions up against first runner-up Indonesia versus Malaysia. Boloyski versus Zorn, a matchup that I've been waiting for personally for a long time to happen, and I'm glad to see it happening here very early on in MPLI 2023. And aside from the roamer battle, I'm looking forward to see the jungle duel as well. Both very young junglers coming into the team, helping the team get glory.
That's the thing, right? A lot of people have said that Niall is a prodigy from Indo. A jungler prodigy on his way.
Prodigy.
An Onyx prodigy, literally. So we want to see how far he's come, especially after MPL ID Season 12, what he's been able to refine in terms of his gameplay and his mentality. And we're going to get a little bit of a sniff into this, especially with him being on the Lancelot. That's not too easy. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, both Warlord and Zorn taken pretty low. So despite the nerfs coming in from Valentina with her IMU, the fact that the cooldowns has been raised, increased, she still has that damage, she still has the dash, she still is able to maneuver out and in with the double dash, plus the damage is still definitely there in the early stage of the game.
And even in the gold lane here, a little bit of a miscalculation. Ryzel wins it out against Chidera for the gold buff steal. But in terms of HP, resources, it does seem like, wait, up top there's a Kang, there's a Thorn Rose as well. Sapot taken very low as Luke tries to jump in for more. Zorn, unfortunately, not able to connect onto that. The shred happens and Zorn should be taken down as the Thorn Rose and the Retry with a Phantom Execution to get him out. But Warlord is looking to rotate up top. Just gets a good Ghost Burster in. Not enough damage. Another shred onto Chibi, and a gold buff will be secured still by Chibi. Luke should be taken out. The Holy Healing gets him a bit more, but it's not enough to get him out. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Penalty zone, not connecting.
Boloyski still able to get out, but it doesn't mean that he will stop harassing. Look at the damage coming in from Boloyski. Sapot is the one forced to run away on a Terizla against a Rafaela.
And by doing that, he's also delaying the wave from crashing to the turret, giving the Dyroth maybe some good time to actually catch up and get level 4. And yes, we do see that. Luke's level 4. Warlord holding on to the turtle, and Geek Fam are looking for the mid lane first. They're going to try to clear it out with the help of a boy and Niall. Meanwhile, Chibi already rotating as well. Purple buff for Chibi, orange buff for Niall. Shield unity going to be used up, and Luke is able to dodge away from now as Zorn gets chunked quite low, but now it's going to be Boloyski who gets knocked up in another realm. Helps him out. Mid Fury knocking him up, and that's Boloyski taken down. Another nether realm for the side of Warlord, saving Homebois from this skirmish. And that's a big win for the Malaysian champions.
And they strike back here. 700 gold lead on the way to 1,000, especially being able to secure this turtle is going to give them a little bit more of an advantage. And that's it. Geek Fam falling behind in the neutral objective take in the entirety of that team fight.
They're playing it safe, but they wanted to go in for that turtle, knowing their health bars were so low and knowing that Beloy didn't have mana. Homeboys just capitalized and punished them hard.
You can see that actually showing here, right? And it's interesting, the way that a boy has been playing the Valentine as well, considering the choices of emblem he's utilized, but Boloyski actually uses his ultimate here.
Good shield unity. Boloyski taken down for the second time in this game in the bottom lane. You can see the pressure building up, like we mentioned earlier in the draft, facilitating Ryzel to get out of lane as fast as possible. He already has a gold advantage and maybe possibly, no, an XP advantage and possibly a gold advantage as well against Chidera.
You even mentioned though that the Irital doesn't do as well against the Bruno, no?
Not as much, not as good as he was able to match up against that Bruno last patch. Now jumps in, looks for the steal. 3v1, Mid Fury though. Dodged away from Sapot roaming as well. Penalty zone locking Niall down. And it's a mega kill for Homeboys, specifically for Sapot in this lane against the Dyroth.
Not sure if that was worth it. Sure, they were able to steal the purple buff away, but Chibi's going for the same thing.
They're going to go for the steal, and they will be able to successfully take it down. Even with the Abyssum Strike, it's going to be Luke who's going to be engaged on. And Geek Fam are forced out of their own jungle. Chibi's still going for more. And Sapot just zoning everyone away. It's a good steal and a good invade from Homeboys.
on behind the back foot of a really risky play coming in from Niall. The fact that he went in for the steal, sure, he was able to get the purple buff back again, but he was taken down, and that actually gave Homebois a little bit more space to dive in and invade into the jungle of Geek Fam. It looks like Homebois, they're winning it out on rotations by just sheer movement speed, which is why I was questioning why a boy went for the emblems he did instead of going for something like just additional movement speed and the Wilderness Blessing.
Let's see, it's Chibi versus Niall on the Retribution department, but Homebois has a good setup. Penalty zone flicker combo from Sapat. Beloyski able to escape. Niall looking for the steal right now, but it's going to be Chibi who secures it. Minions Fury dodged away from Ryzen with the flicker forward onto Beloy with a worldie. Gets the damage on, gets Beloyski down for the third time in this game, and Homebois picks the pace up.
6-1 in 6 minutes, a 2.3k gold lead for Homebois, and it looks like Sapat wants more. Dealing some damage onto Luke, denying him away from defending that turret. That mid side is going to crash. Although while this was happening, there was some trades coming in from Chidera being able to take that top turret. So it does look like Geek Fam, slowly but surely, they understand that they're falling far behind and they're looking for some things to bring them back in the game.
They can only really get turrets on the other side of the map. The trades happening haven't been too good for Geek Fam, though. Have been amazing for Homebois on the other side. Sapat now going to be ganked up, and that's the shred that we expect. A good penalty zone, though. Delays the small pickoff for a bit, and Ryzel's able to capitalize on that by a turret up top, which he's able to take down with no problem. Niall, though, is somehow still actually doing quite well in the jungle, despite getting picked off once in the enemy jungle. This won't stand for long, though, as Chibi is going to steal away that purple buff from him.
It's being oppressive. He's denying Luke resources right now. He's denying Niall resources right now. And the fact is, Niall's a level below of Chibi. He just stepped into level 10, so there is a level disparity in just a few moments, especially for Chibi when he clears out those jungle creeps.
That's interesting. Niall's still actually keeping up somehow, some way, some good pathing from him, I guess. Level 10 to 10, despite Chibi having a purple buff stolen away earlier, taking it away from Geek Fam. And even for the rest of the team, I'm looking at the level, I'm looking at the gold lead even. You'd expect Homebois to have more than a 2.4k gold lead, but I guess Geek Fam have been farming quite well. Niall, puncture in the mid lane as a Holy Baptism connecting onto Zorn, trying to use some damage. Abyssal Strike as well. Zorn forced back. That's a good Meteor Fury, but it's cancelled that way. A pickoff. And now they're running for the hill. Geek Fam going to be engaged on it. Chidera taken down by the Ghost Bursters. Luke forced to flicker back to his tier 2. A gold lane for a roamer.
Worth it for Homebois. Right? Really good pickoff coming in from Warlord to dive into the backline. A really good response as to the Netherrealm that was utilized by a boy. And without Chidera, Geek Fam are forced to retreat, forced to take away, forced to give over that next neutral objective. And now Sapat, actually, he might be in trouble.
DPZ not going to be able to get him out. But I might have spoken too soon. Sapat with an outplay. It's Ryzel who capitalizes, and Niall gets taken out in the bottom side of the map.
4k gold lead for the Malaysian representatives right now as they're looking to get more. It's putting on some pressure here in the mid lane. You can see that Zorn is looking for that proper opening. As look at this, Chibi.
Shield Unity locking Luke down. That's also a Shadow Stampede that brings him back in desperation. He pops that second skill to shred Chibi down, but it's not enough to take him down. Homebois are pushing the snowball all the way to a death ball.
And Geek Fam, they're struggling so heavily right now. Chidera, trying to catch up, was able to finally secure his Berserker Fury, but not really sure how far behind he is at the moment. I'm sure we'll get to see the items soon, but that will give us a little bit more insight as to whether or not Chidera will be ready for these team fights. Because for the most part, Homebois, they have been overwhelming Geek Fam with so much burst and damage, both physical and magical so far, as we take a look at the replay as to what exactly happened.
This right here was Zorn getting picked off, but Geek Fam were not able to fully disengage. Meanwhile, we do have a fight going on as well in the game. Luke taken out 0-4-3 in the 9th minute of the game. Eterna, it's all been Homebois, and they're looking to push the pace even further. Niall sent down below to look for a trade on the map, going for the orange buff in the bottom side jungle.
we opened up this match being like, you know what, this might be the only match that could be equal, could be putting up a fight from both sides. But what we're looking at right now is Homebois is completely overlooking Geek, completely just overshadowing Geek in terms of gameplay. A lot more smoother in the initiation route. And look at this, very quick to the next neutral objective. That Lord, it's being blitzed.
For sure, Retribution on point as usual, as expected from Chibi. And it's just Beloyski who gets sacrificed here. Homebois with a big win again. It's a shield unity used up by Chibi to zone Geek Fam away from their own jungle. And that's that. Homebois playing it safe and disciplined.
Let's take a step back. Wait, Zorn picking up photo as well? Okay, we finally get to see the... Oh my... 6, 7, 8, 9... Is that almost a 3k gold difference between Bruno
yes.
and Irithel?
It's almost... More accurately, it's a 2,100 gold lead, but speaks for itself the damage that Bruno has been able to do this game. And clearly, the Irithel nerfs hitting her hard.
But despite everything, look at Niall's gold lead.
He has a lead, but unfortunately, he's going for the utility build. He actually does not have too much pressure on towards the backline of Homebois, especially considering Ryza already has it with a nature. He can free hit onto the turret just like that. He might be able to use this Lord to maybe look for an end, but Loyski is taken low, has to use a holy helix to pass! With a flicker penalty zone engage onto the back. Niall, in desperation, jumps into the puncture, but the base is wide open with the Lord as well. They're gonna go straight at it, and Homebois takes Geek Fam down in the group stage. 1-0 in the best of one.
Clean performance by the Malaysian representatives, Homebois, showing Geek Fam what champions are made of. Beautiful performance, so clean. Geek Fam, they had no idea what hit them.
A stomp in a match where we expected a close game. Homebois comes in with the excellence, the discipline, and the composure to beat one of the tournament favorites as well, Eterna.
I mean, we gotta go to our TAA right now. I want to know what exactly happened. How? Were Geek Fam steamrolled? Arashi, you there?